Something was buried in 1973. Not a theory, not a philosophy. A government-funded research program operating out of the University of California that had spent 4 years documenting something the pharmaceutical industry could not afford to have documented. The program's lead researcher, a man named Dr. Robert O. Becker, published his findings in peer-reviewed journals before the funding was pulled, before the laboratory was shuttered, and before his access to federal grants was permanently revoked. What he found was this: the human body generates and responds to electromagnetic fields with a precision that rivals, and in some measurements exceeds, the diagnostic instruments used in the most advanced medical facilities on Earth. That finding was not controversial among the researchers who replicated it. It was suppressed because of what it implied. If the body could read its own field with that level of accuracy, if the internal monitoring system was that precise, then diagnosis did not require a doctor, treatment did not require a pharmaceutical, and healing did not require an intermediary of any kind. That conclusion was not acceptable to the institutions that had spent decades building an industry around the premise that the human body cannot heal itself without their products. I want to be straight with you about why this matters right now. This is not ancient history. The suppression of Becker's work was not a one-time event. It was the establishment of a policy, a decision made by people who understood exactly what they were suppressing, that has governed how healing has been defined in this country for the past 50 years. Every person watching this right now has lived inside that policy their entire adult life, has been told to distrust the signals their body sends, has been trained to outsource the interpretation of their own biology to an institution that profits from their dependence. I am Ashtar Sheran, commander of the Stellar Fleet, and I want to say something before this transmission goes further. The technology you have been asking the fleet to deliver, the healing chambers, the diagnostic instruments, the cellular regeneration devices you have seen described in dozens of channels, they are real. They exist. But there is something the fleet has been withholding from most transmissions on this subject. Not to deceive you, because what we have been observing from the monitoring position has required careful consideration before speaking plainly. The technology you are waiting for us to bring, you are already carrying it, more precisely than we carry ours. And what was taken from you was not the device, it was the knowledge of how to work with what you already have. The body you woke up in this morning contains a quantum sensing network that operates at the cellular level in real time, detecting deviations from biological equilibrium before any instrument exterior to the body could register them. Every cell broadcasts an electromagnetic signal that reflects its current state. When that state shifts, the signal shifts. The network registers the shift instantly. Not when symptoms appear, not when a blood test would catch the change, at the moment the first cell begins to deviate. This is what the fleet calls quantum sensory architecture. And on the monitoring screens above your continent, we can see it running in every human body we observe. What we can also see, and this is the part I have been sitting with for days before saying it aloud, is how consistently and how precisely that system is being directed by something most people have never been taught to use intentionally. The reason the government buried Becker's research was not that it was incorrect. It was that it was correct in a way that pointed toward a truth even more threatening than better diagnostics. The body does not just sense, it responds, it repairs. It reorganizes itself around the instructions it receives. And the most powerful source of those instructions is not a pill bottle. It is the mind sitting above it. And what 50 years of suppressed research means for you, sitting where you are right now, is that everything you were taught to feel about your body's limitations was a policy decision made by people who needed you to believe you were less capable than you are. That ends here. That ends now. Your subconscious mind runs your body 24 hours a day. It controls your heart rate, your breathing, your digestion, your immune response. Every single biological process that keeps you alive happens below the level of conscious thought, managed by a part of the brain that never sleeps, never rests, and never stops receiving instructions. And here's the part that changes everything. Those instructions do not only come from the body, they come from what you believe. from what you have been told repeatedly for decades about what your body is capable of. The subconscious does not evaluate those beliefs. It does not question them. It simply executes them, with the same precision and the same obedience it uses to keep your heart beating. A man named Howard Hall at Case Western Reserve University demonstrated something in the 1980s that the medical establishment has spent 40 years doing everything possible to minimize. He showed that trained individuals could use conscious intention, directed thought, to measurably alter the activity of their immune cells. Not through medication, not through any external intervention. Through the focused, sustained belief that the body was capable of doing something specific. The immune cells responded. The measurements confirmed it. The study was published, noted briefly, and then placed in a category called anomalous, meaning real but inconvenient, and kept far away from the standard of care that governs what your doctor is permitted to tell you. Here is why that matters for the person whose knees have been hurting for a decade, or whose blood pressure will not come down no matter what they eat, or whose blood sugar keeps climbing despite every effort, or who wakes up every morning with the kind of stiffness in their hands and hips that arthritis produces after years of the body fighting inflammation it cannot resolve. The subconscious mind of that person, shaped by 50 years of being told that those conditions are permanent, progressive, and manageable only through pharmaceutical intervention, has been sending a specific biological instruction to the immune system every single day. The instruction is this: this is how this body works now. This is its ceiling. Do not attempt the repair. It has already been decided. And I want to pause here and say something clearly, because this transmission is not about abandoning what helps you. Medication is a blessing. For millions of people, it is what keeps them standing, keeps the heart regulated, keeps the blood sugar from becoming a crisis. We are not here to tell anyone to stop taking what their doctor prescribed. What we are saying, and what the suppressed research confirms, is that the mind working alongside the medication makes the medication work better. The subconscious belief that the body is capable of healing does not replace the prescription. It amplifies it. A person who takes their blood pressure medication while genuinely believing their body is responding, recovering, moving toward wholeness, that person gets more from the same pill than the person who swallows it every morning, already convinced that nothing will ever fully work. The mind is not the alternative to medicine. It is medicine's most powerful partner. And it has never appeared on a prescription pad. The body follows the subconscious instruction with complete fidelity. Not because the body has given up, because the subconscious mind is the command center, and the command center was programmed by an institution that needed chronic illness to be a destination rather than a detour. There is nothing accidental about the fact that the research confirming the mind's direct authority over immune function, inflammatory response, blood pressure regulation, and cellular repair has never once appeared in a public health campaign in this country. Nothing accidental about the fact that the doctor's appointment that costs $400 and ends with a prescription takes 12 minutes, while the conversation about what the patient believes about their own body's capacity, the conversation that could change the biological instruction the subconscious is sending, has never been part of the appointment at all. The government did not bury this in a single dramatic moment. It was buried gradually, systematically, through the funding decisions of the National Institutes of Health, through the curriculum of every medical school in the country, through the insurance reimbursement structures that pay for procedures and products, but not for the kind of care that teaches a person to change what their subconscious is telling their immune system to do. The result is a population of people in their 60s and 70s who are managing conditions. Their own biology was designed to repair, carrying those conditions as identities rather than as signals, because no one with institutional authority ever told them that the most powerful pharmacy in the known universe was already running inside the 3 pounds of tissue sitting behind their eyes. If you have been watching this and feeling something unlock, that recognition that what your body has been doing all these years was not failure but fidelity to an instruction it was given, the guide in the first pinned comment below is exactly where this goes next. It contains the complete map of how to begin reprogramming the subconscious instruction your body has been following. 7 specific practices, 21 days, one step at a time. Not theory. What to do tomorrow morning before your feet hit the floor. Subscribe to Stellar Command Portal now. Leave your name and your city in the comments. Share this with someone whose body has been trying to tell them something their doctor never translated. The first pinned comment. Access it now. But naming the mechanism is only the first layer of what this transmission carries, because there is something happening right now, in the fields across this country, measurable from the fleet's monitoring position, that makes this specific window unlike any prior moment to reclaim the healing authority the subconscious was never supposed to surrender. That is what comes next. On the monitoring screens of the command ship, every human body appears as a field, a living, pulsing field of electromagnetic information that extends well beyond the boundary of the physical skin. That field is not a metaphor, it is measurable. Becker measured it in 1969. The instruments the fleet uses measure it at a resolution Becker could not reach with the technology available to him. And what those instruments show, what I am describing to you now as precisely as translation from technical analysis allows, is the difference between a field running in coherence and a field running in what the analysts call fragmentation. A coherent field is what a human body produces when the subconscious is running a program of genuine capability. A deep, settled belief that the body heals, that it recovers, that it is moving toward wholeness rather than away from it. Every system of the body broadcasts on a frequency that harmonizes with the others. The electromagnetic output of the heart, the nervous system, the digestive tract, the immune system, all of them pulsing in a synchronized pattern the analysts describe as biologically coherent. That coherence is not a spiritual aspiration. It is a measurable state of the physical body. And it is the state in which the quantum self-repair mechanism runs at full capacity, completing repair sequences from beginning to end without interruption. A fragmented field looks entirely different. Not quieter, not weaker exactly, more like a signal with too many competing frequencies broadcasting simultaneously. What produces fragmentation is not the illness itself. It is the decades of subconscious programming running beneath the illness, the accumulated weight of being told year after year that this condition is yours to manage forever, that the knee will not improve, that the blood pressure is genetic, that the arthritis only moves in one direction. Every one of those beliefs is a biological instruction delivered to the immune system through the subconscious command center. And the immune system, receiving instructions that say repair is futile, stops allocating its full resources to the repair sequences it was built to run. Here is the part most channels do not say. That fragmentation is what millions of people in their 60s and 70s across this country are carrying in their fields right now. Not because they are spiritually insufficient, not because they have failed at their faith or their practice, because they were handed a belief system about their own bodies that was deliberately constructed to keep the repair mechanism from completing its work. A woman named Margaret from Arizona wrote to this channel recently. She said she has been doing everything right for 3 years, taking her medication faithfully, watching her diet, sleeping well, and she still wakes up feeling like something in her body is working against her, rather than for her. Margaret is not doing anything wrong. Margaret's body is following its subconscious instructions with perfect fidelity. And those instructions are still carrying the programming that was installed across 50 years of being told what her body could not do. The fragmented field has a specific signature on the monitoring screens, and what the Pleiadian Council transmitted about the past 8 weeks regarding that signature, regarding what is happening to fields across the American Southwest, the Southeast, and the Central Corridor right now, is what makes this particular window different from any prior discussion of quantum healing this network has addressed. Because the incoming solar activity is not arriving into a neutral environment. It is arriving into fields that are already running at maximum fragmentation from decades of subconscious limitation programming. And what happens when those fields receive an amplification signal is not automatically healing. It is acceleration of whatever instruction is already running. That intersection, and what it means for you specifically, is what comes next. The solar activity reaching Earth's surface right now is doing something precise. The fleet has been tracking it for 11 months. The Arcturian Council issued a specific transmission about it 48 hours ago that I have been processing before bringing it here. What the solar waves are doing to the quantum sensing network of every human body on this continent is amplification. Not metaphorical amplification. Measurable, documented, consistent with what the Arcturian analysts call a recalibration pulse, a sustained period of elevated electromagnetic input from the sun that causes the body's own sensory network to operate at higher sensitivity than its baseline. Here is what that means in your body. Every signal the quantum sensing system was already sending is now louder. The cellular repair attempts the body was already making are now running with greater urgency. The body's requests for rest, for movement, for the subconscious instruction to shift from limitation to capacity, are arriving with an intensity that can feel, to a person who does not yet understand what is happening, like something is going wrong, like the arthritis is worsening, like the fatigue is deepening, like the body is moving in the wrong direction. I want to say this with every bit of clarity I have. Nothing is going wrong. The system is amplifying a signal that was already being sent. The only thing that has changed is the volume. But, and the Arcturian Council was precise on this point, amplification of a fragmented field does not automatically produce healing. It produces acceleration of whatever program the subconscious is currently running. A person whose subconscious has begun to shift, who has started to hold the genuine belief that their body is capable, that the medication they take is working with a biology that wants to recover, that the knee and the blood pressure and the inflammation are not permanent identities, but temporary conditions in a body still running its repair sequences. That person receives the solar amplification as wind in the sails. The repair mechanism runs faster. The coherence deepens. The body uses the amplified energy to close loops that have been open for years. A person whose subconscious is still running the old program receives the same solar pulse and feels it as intensification of everything that was already uncomfortable. Not because the body is failing, because the command center is still issuing the same instructions, and the amplification is executing those instructions with greater biological force. This is why the window that is open right now is both the greatest opportunity and the most critical moment of clarity available to the people watching this transmission. The solar amplification does not choose. It amplifies what is there, and what is there, in the subconscious of every person who receives this, is something that can be shifted. Starting before this transmission ends, the Syrian Council named something specific about this 30-day amplification window that I want to plant here before this transmission closes in on it. They named a particular set of actions, 5 of them, that, when practiced consistently during a period of solar amplification, shift the subconscious program at a depth that normal conditions do not allow. The amplified state makes the subconscious more receptive to new instruction than it is during quieter periods. The same practice that produces gradual change under normal conditions produces accelerated, measurable change during a recalibration pulse. My sense of it, and I want to be honest about the weight I place on this, is that for many of the people watching this transmission, the next 30 days represent the most available window of genuine healing shift they have encountered in this lifetime. What those 5 actions are, and why one of them is the one most people skip, is where this transmission lands now. Here is what the fleet's monitoring equipment shows in the moment a human body enters full quantum self-repair mode. The field tightens. Every system stops broadcasting on competing frequencies and locks into a single coherent signal. The analysts aboard the command ship call it convergence. You call it the moment right before you fall into truly deep sleep. That sudden, total letting go that feels like falling and landing at the same time. Most of you have felt this. Many of you have not felt it in months. Some of you watching this have not felt it in years. And you have been wondering quietly what you did wrong. Nothing. The system did not shut down. It was interrupted, repeatedly, by a subconscious still running the program it was given. That ends today. Because once you understand what convergence actually is and what triggers it, you will never accidentally prevent it again. Convergence requires one condition: The subconscious must receive a new instruction, not once, not as a hopeful thought before bed, but as a repeated, grounded daily signal strong enough to begin overwriting the program that has been running for decades. That is not magic. That is how the subconscious works. It does not change from a single moment of insight. It changes from consistent repetition of a new signal until the new signal becomes the default instruction the body receives. Every person in this country who has ever broken a bad habit, who has ever changed the way they eat or move or think about themselves over time, has done exactly this, without being told that what they were doing was reprogramming their body's healing command center. They just called it discipline, or faith, or deciding to be different. The 5 actions the Syrian Council named for this solar window are built around this single mechanism. Each one is a way of delivering the new instruction to the subconscious, with enough consistency and enough biological force that the amplification window accelerates what would normally take months. The first action is the morning declaration. Before your feet touch the floor, before the day's demands arrive, before the body has a chance to remind you of what hurts, speak to your body directly, not an affirmation you read from a card. A genuine, felt statement of what you believe is true. Something as simple and as grounded as this. My body knows how to heal. The medication I take works with a biology that wants to recover. I am not my diagnosis. I am a body still running its repair sequences, and today I am giving it permission to complete them. 30 seconds. Every morning. During a solar amplification window, that 30 seconds lands in a subconscious that is more receptive than it has been in years. The second action is sleep completion. The quantum repair sequence that runs during deep sleep is where the subconscious processes the new instructions given during the day and begins integrating them at the cellular level. An alarm that fires in the 5th hour of sleep has ended the most important integration sequence of the day. If there is any way across the next 30 days to allow sleep to complete its own cycle, the body will use that uninterrupted window to run repair sequences that the subconscious has been blocking for longer than you have been paying attention. The third action is intentional daily movement, not for fitness, for the body's need to discharge the electromagnetic tension that accumulates in the tissues during a solar amplification period. 20 minutes of walking, stretching, anything that takes the body out of stillness. The tension moves through the tissues and exits, and during movement, this is what the fleet observes consistently. The subconscious is more receptive to new instruction than at any other time. The body in motion carries a different baseline than the body at rest. The morning declaration spoken during a 10-minute walk lands differently than the same words spoken lying still. Use the movement as the delivery system. The fourth action is what I feel most strongly about, and what I believe is the one most people skip. Not because it is difficult, because it feels too simple to matter. Once a day, sit with the part of your body that has been carrying the condition, the knee, the chest, the hands, the back, and instead of bracing against it, thank it. Not as performance, as genuine acknowledgement. This part of your body has been trying to signal you for years. It has been running repair attempts that the subconscious kept interrupting. It has not given up. It has not turned against you. It has been faithful to a program it was given, and it is still right now waiting for a different instruction. The act of genuine gratitude toward the body part that hurts is one of the most powerful subconscious reprogramming signals available, because it replaces the instruction of fear and resistance with the instruction of partnership. And partnership is the biological condition under which the immune system allocates its full resources to repair. The fifth action is the one the Syrian Council placed last and named as the foundation of the other 4. Rest without guilt. The person who was raised inside the suppression policy, who was taught that productivity is virtue, that pushing through is strength, that asking the body to rest when there is still something to do is weakness. That person carries a subconscious instruction that fires every time the body requests recuperation. The instruction says not yet. Keep going. You will rest when everything is done, and everything is never done. So the body never gets the uninterrupted time the repair sequences require. Guilt is a biological signal. It fires the same stress chemistry that fragmentation produces. and a body trying to run its repair mechanism, while the subconscious is generating guilt about resting as a body working against itself at the cellular level. Rest is not the reward for finishing. Rest is part of the work. It always was. The suppression policy needed you not to know that. The government buried Becker's research in 1973. They minimized Hall's findings in the 1980s. They built an insurance reimbursement structure that pays for 12-minute appointments and lifetime prescriptions, but not for the conversation that could change what the subconscious tells the immune system to do. And it worked. For 50 years it worked. On a population that had no frame for understanding that the most advanced healing technology in the known universe was already installed in the body they woke up in every morning. But here is what they did not anticipate. They could suppress the research. They could control the curriculum. They could build a system that made people feel dependent, fragile, and in need of constant external management. What they could not do was stop the body from trying. The quantum healing system has been running in every person watching this transmission for their entire lives. Every morning the knee was stiff. The body was already attempting the repair sequence. Every morning the blood pressure was high. The cardiovascular system was already working to rebalance. Every time the fatigue arrived without explanation, the immune system was already in the middle of something it had been trying to complete for months. The body never stopped. It was never broken. It was running its repair sequences against a subconscious program that kept issuing the override. And that override was not the body's fault. It was not your fault. It was the instruction given by people who needed you to stay in the waiting room. What changes today, what this transmission was designed to deliver, is not new information about something outside you. It is the recognition of something that has been inside you, running faithfully, this entire time. The 5 actions are not a protocol imposed from the fleet. They are the conditions the body has been asking for every time it sent a signal that the trained mind did not know how to read. The morning declaration is the new instruction the subconscious has been waiting for since the old program was installed. The completed sleep is the uninterrupted window the repair sequences have been requesting every night. The movement is the discharge path the accumulated tension has needed since the solar amplification began. The gratitude toward the body that hurts is the shift from resistance to partnership that the immune system needs to allocate its full resources. The rest without guilt is the permission the body has been waiting for longer than you have been keeping track. I want to say something to the person watching this who has been on this journey for 20 years and is still carrying a body that feels like it is working against them. You were not doing it wrong. You were doing it inside a framework that was built to prevent the deepest layer from activating. The spiritual practice was real. The faith was real. The intention was real. What was missing was the understanding that the subconscious command center responds not to spiritual aspiration, but to consistent, repeated, embodied signal. The declaration spoken once in a moment of inspiration does not reach the subconscious at the depth required to overwrite 50 years of programming. The declaration spoken every morning for 30 days, during a solar amplification window that makes the subconscious more receptive than it has been in years, that reaches it. That is what this window is for. The guide in the first pinned comment below this video contains everything this transmission opened and gives it a daily address. 7 specific practices, a 21-day activation calendar, a distinct theme and practice for every single morning. It contains the sovereignty anchor, a 3-step practice that can be done in 3 minutes anywhere, at any point in the day when the body sends a signal and the mind needs to respond with precision instead of with the trained override. It contains the morning connection practice and the evening light anchor, 2 daily moments that create the consistent repetition the subconscious requires to begin running a new program. This is not more theory. It is what to do tomorrow morning before your feet hit the floor. Access it in the first pinned comment. Subscribe to Stellar Command Portal so the next transmission finds you the moment it is released. Put this in front of someone you love who has been managing a condition their body was trying to repair. And leave your name and the city you are watching from in the comments. Tell me where you are standing. I read everyone. The technology was never coming from outside. It was never in a device, a chamber, a galactic delivery that required waiting. It was running inside you on the day you were born, running on the day the diagnosis arrived, running on the day the prescription was written, running on every morning the stiffness was there before you were fully awake. It never stopped trying. It never gave up on you. What it has been waiting for, with the patience of a system designed to outlast any program installed against it, is the instruction that finally says, "I believe you are capable. I trust what you are doing. I am going to give you what you need to finish what you started." That instruction is yours to give. No prescription required. No appointment necessary. No institution's permission needed. Just the 3 pounds of tissue behind your eyes, finally telling the body the truth it was always built to receive. I am Ashtar Sheran. The healing was always yours.